Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you find yourself in. Another XRP Army News interview, and today we are very grateful to be able to introduce everyone to upkey24, and he's going to share his crypto journey with us. So this is about you and your journey. So introduce yourself to everyone, and let's kick this thing off and find out more about you.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, Scott. Not sure how everyone's journey has went or started, but what happened for me was big into sports, huge into sports, and all of a sudden there were no sports, and we all know why that kind of came to be. And so Snapchat, sent a message out to all of my friends on Snapchat and just said investment ideas. Because I didn't have anything to consume my time like I was doing with sports. And, you had your Teslas, Apples, IBMs, stuff like that everyone's saying. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I have, that much money to drop on 5 stocks of Tesla or something like that, So one guy out of all my Snapchat friends, XRP, I'm just like, kind of wonder what that is. So,
yeah. Hello.
So bam, start going back and forth with this guy, good buddy of mine, and he kind of throws me into a couple different exchanges where I can get it, and kind of just says, like everyone else, do your own research and make sure you're comfortable with whatever you're going to put into this. But he's like, we're going to be the new, 1%, 0.1% or whatever, and I'm like, okay, this guy's crazy. And so of course start researching it and all that, and I'm going to definitely buy, my first goal, buy this many. And then, this was 3 months ago, 5 months ago, time's flying by now too in 2020.
Yep.
Crazy. And so, so set a goal, kind of got there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue buying until the end of 2020. And a lot of these, so that's kind of my plan right now. Just every paycheck, throw a little bit into crypto. Not necessarily all XRP, but it is definitely the real high percentage of my portfolio is XRP. So
mine too. Now, did your background at all lend you to being, into the financial world and trying to investigate and research different types of economic opportunities that you might enhance your life with, or completely out of left field? And I'll let you know, me, completely out of left field. Before crypto, I was really just not taking very good care of my finances in my life. Always made plenty of money, but never really been into making sure that I was saving for my future. So crypto came at the right time. If we moon here in a couple, a year or so too, then I hit it at the right time.
September 21. That's what I'm banking on. But yeah,
did you have any background at all that led you to having some expertise in this area? Or are you self-taught like most of us since we found crypto?
Yeah, basically the one time I thought about investing, like your story, but I had one time, Facebook 2000, whenever Facebook was IPO'd, I had a decent job, and I was like, I should get into this and get some right now. Like, that seems pretty cheap. And then I'm like, well, how are they going to make money? And then, whatever time went by, I didn't do it. And I get back on and look at it like a year later or whatever. I'm like, oh, so it went from like $34 to $100 and whatever it was at that time. And I'm like, so I missed the boat there. And then, I kind of just, for some reason, didn't look back into it. And then when the black swan hit, sports was gone, and spent, 2 to 4 hours a day just looking at sports stuff, fantasy football and all that kind of good stuff. And now my time was straight to XRP because that was the first one I was told. So I got so many XRP before I finally started to diversify a little. I'm like, okay, I see a lot of these other ones. Why not throw some money at, VeChain or XLM or ADA or, whatever. So,
yep.
And so I got little bags of those just because I think the whole market is going to go up, but who gets, you know, knocked out because of regulations is going to be a big question. So that's why I'm trying to hit the ones that I've seen that look like they will pass that, or, you know, government and banks always win. That's not going to change. That's not going to change. So
No.
just hop on in and
so now that you've become basically, in a sense, a crypto gambler, what do you feel like that the odds are that we'll see college football this fall, or Ghislaine Maxwell gets suicided? Which is more likely to occur?
Man, I hope for college football. So I'm going to go with college football. Sounds like pro football for sure is going to happen. So, college, there's so much money in there. I mean, there's so much money on the other side of that situation too. But I'm hoping for the football.
I'm a huge Carolina fan. I'm North Carolina, by the way. And for all of the South Carolina people, you know, the reason that the sky is Carolina blue is because God's a Tar Heel. I don't know if I just want to make sure I straighten that up for all the Gamecocks out there. But
Lawrence Taylor.
And hey, we're a little excited, you know, now because Mac has come back, and we're more optimistic now about our chances with our football team. We're always, you know, last year was a blip in the radar with the basketball, but we believe Roy's going to, good old Carolina Mountain Boy is going to bring the Tar Heel basketball back to prominence. And then, but my, excuse me, my heart in college football really belongs in Athens, between the hedges. My grandfather grew up in Georgia, and my whole side of my mother's family grew up there. And my grandfather graduated from Georgia. My sister and brother-in-law met while they were going to University of Georgia, and they live in Bogart, which is a little suburb of Athens now. So I am really hoping that they get to play some football between the hedges, because I love golf. I got a Masters ball marker on my hat, and I love golf, but I need more sports on television than just golf.
I agree. I go lefty for golf, and
love lefty.
Sadly, my Hawkeyes have been in the news for bad reasons. So it's got to stick with your team through the thick and thin. So hopefully they get everybody cleaned out of that university that's a part of that, and we got to move forward. But
hey, you got a great coach, man. He's been there for a longer term than any other coach in the Big Ten, right?
Correct.
I like Friends.
You're North Carolina, Lawrence Taylor, New York Giants fan. So, oh man,
what a beast! Man, I can still see him snapping Joe Theismann's leg. I'm a little bit older, I guess. Maybe I've lived long enough now where I'm getting to be a little bit older than some other people now, which is a very strange occurrence. But yeah, Lawrence Taylor. I'll tell you another one who was a real beast was Julius Peppers.
Yep, for sure.
How would you like to have been, not on the football field with pads on, but how would you like to have been in the lane with him barreling down on your ass, and you're sitting there saying, okay, I think I'll take the charge?
Yeah, right. Adios.
No. I mean, Julius Peppers was a beast.
Right.
So,
yeah, physical
so
specimen,
we're in agreement. Now, one thing I'd like is I'd like to get your impression of our recent development. And I don't know how you feel about the Bitcoin maxi attitude. The way I feel like about it, I think I've made very well known. I'm a fan of Bitcoin, but I'm not a fan of the maxi attitude. What do you feel like lately about the development now that Bitcoin is now a banker's coin?
Yeah, I love that. That's kind of foot in mouth type deal, and it's great. You know, I laugh at the maxis, and you know, it's going to happen no matter what. And I bet there's even a high percentage of them that have an XRP bag. They just still want to do it. I mean, there's no way you wouldn't have a bag of XRP if you are in this, if you read anything.
Well, you know what really helped me get over the hump with the banker's coin mentality thing, and it sounds like you're coming from the same place. But when DAI kept saying in his videos over and over, you know, does my 8-year-old now have to draw you a picture that the banks and the government are going to break out the tanks and the guns before they're going to just roll over and say, go ahead and take all the money system in the world? It's just never going to happen. And I appreciate, I'm a libertarian, so I appreciate a bit of an anarchy view, but that's just whistling Dixie. I mean, come on, y'all. The banks ain't giving it up.
Agreed. And, you know, when I got in, so like I said, I'm a newbie, got in a few months ago, and, you know, Bitcoin was popping over 10K. I'm like, well, I will believe that one's going to go down. And as everyone else goes up, their share of the entire market goes down. And there's really no reason that we need to be burning as much energy as like entire countries to be mining something right now. It's like, I think the virus, when everyone was kind of shut down for a while, showed us the environment needs a break too. So XRP, another bonus there, green. And that's awesome.
Have you been around the space long enough to kind of hear what John McAfee stated a couple of years ago?
Was that the one about eating his own dick or something like that?
Yes, he's on the clock. Upkey. The BTC doesn't hit 1 million by December 31st, and for no other reason than Mr. McAfee not having to eat his Johnson. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we get to $1 million BTC, along with the fact that they probably will drag XRP up somewhat with it, because the altcoins usually follow, you know, Bitcoin. So, but I'm hoping everyone will say a little prayer for John McAfee's Johnson, that he does not have to saute it and have it for dinner. Thank you very much.
I'm sure that'll go on pay-per-view or something when it happens.
I just don't. I hope he can avoid that. He's a nice guy. I like him. He's interesting and fun. So, since you've been in and you kind of, you know, what impressed you? The biggest things, one or two things that impressed you about XRP and Ripple that had you decide that was one of the projects that you wanted to go ahead and invest in?
Well, I mean, just the connections with banks and government right there was number one. I'm like, well, that's obvious. And then when you kind of look at the community and Joel Katz and his interactions, and just kind of reading all that and putting everything together, and every investment is going to be some speculation. And when all those pieces are there with all the connections, and then, you know, they got interviews with Garlinghouse, and you can just see with his body language and everything, he's like, this is like, come on guys, like, how can't you see this? And like, that's pretty much it. You get the human interaction where you can see that, and they're answering questions, and, you know, they're genuinely into this, and they make money when XRP goes up as well. It's not act like they like it at this low of a price either, and they know its value is worth, you know, up to 10,000, right? So give us $50 and, you know, be debt free, and then hold the rest until that's all you need.
I've been in sales for over 3 decades, and you really kind of learn, mostly if you're going to be, you know, able to survive doing it, to learn to listen and to watch the other person. And I can't agree with you more when you sit there and watch and listen to Brad Garlinghouse, excuse me, his enthusiasm and his confidence and his belief in what he's talking about. It's almost like he's the Cheshire Cat, and he knows stuff that I guess maybe for NDA reasons that he can't really divulge, but the confidence that guy exudes, you know, every time I watch him talk, I'm just going like, yay. It just builds more and more of that belief.
What's he gonna say here at the next Swell 20?
Swell conference. Yep. Now I will tell you, I've been in around the space a little bit longer than you, a couple of years, and the only time that I really did have any kind of disappointment at all is that every year the Swell had a real swell in the price action, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen last year. So hopefully maybe this virtual swell this year is going to get us to have a little bit of price action.
Yeah, maybe the rubber band was just going a little further this way for when it flings back the other way for us.
Well, is it concerning you at all that we may possibly be heading kind of towards a new world order and a new world currency and that kind of thing? Does any of that kind of scare you? Or like me, I think they're going to do it irregardless of little Scott Powell's opinion. So I'm going to try to position myself to take advantage of it monetarily.
Right. I mean, I have two little ones, and it's about adapting to what is there, and there's no reason to think that it's not going that way, because it is. And yes, it's scary. Everything going on right now is scary, and then you got two little ones to care for and a family, and it is scary. But yeah, like you said, if it's going that way and the signs just say it is, and I mean every day article after article coming out. I mean, you can't read all the information out there anymore because there's so much going on. It's pretty much, we're there. So let's hop in the early stages and get mature this whole situation. And people are worried about 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. It's like, if 2030 rolls around and it's still at 20 cents or, whatever, then, maybe I'm going to start getting worried. But until it matures, which Visa, MasterCard, everything. And like you said, NDA, there's probably, who knows how many NDAs there are out there with Bezos or Musk or who knows what. And it just keeps coming out, and I'm hoping they're holding a lot of that for that swell, and it's just over at that point,
Yeah, we're going to reach a tipping point. I mean, and to me, I always fall back to the fundamentals, and that's what makes me feel the most comfortable about Ripple and XRP. Is that when I take a look at what we've got, which is Swift, slow, costly, 6% error rate, can we improve that? If that's a resounding yes, Upkey, I mean, dude, it's going to happen. I mean, we had cassettes. You're old enough to remember that. We had cassettes. Then the CD came along. But I promise you, in the beginning, in the early adoption, I don't want that. I don't even have a CD player. That's no good, blah, blah, blah. But the tech always wins. So if we're making a technological advance that makes things more convenient, excuse me, allergies. If we have something, sorry about that.
All right.
My allergies kick up a little bit too when I get excited. So when we have, the technology makes things more convenient, you got a winner. I mean, it's just people want easier, faster, more convenient. They're just going to go with it.
Exactly. And when I try to talk to people about getting into crypto, and I'm like, it's like everything, just kind of like what you're saying. It's like, first there was MySpace, aka Bitcoin. Bye-bye. First there was Napster, Bitcoin. Bye-bye. Eventually, the better, faster, cheaper, if it beats it in all directions, it's going to win out, just like you're saying, technology. So when I tell people that and, compare it to that, it's like, guys, get in early and enjoy the ride. Do something with it. Do something with what's going to happen.
I was listening to a traditional investment guy today that I actually really like, and he was interviewing some other traditional investment guy, and they're starting to make the shift. And the guy that was being interviewed said, it was like, I think we got some problems here with the traditional stuff. So I'm kind of beginning to look a little bit outside of the box and see where all this money is going to go to when this other bullshit collapses.
Right.
And then the words, yes, I'm heavily into Bitcoin. I mean, if the guy would have done his research, I think he would understand that Bitcoin is Napster. And, again, I own Bitcoin. If it goes to $1 million, besides John McAfee not eating his Johnson, I will make money. I'm all for it.
Right.
But I understand that the Napster of the crypto space has some serious issues that need to be overcome. They've got to do something about the hash rate in China. How can an intelligent investment dude look at that and not understand that that is a real issue that's got to be taken care of? Trump and Mnuchin and his hot wife are never going to let BTC be massively adopted if the hash rate is dominated in China.
And exactly.
Miss Mnuchin she'll stand up and say, this aggression will not stand.
This aggression will not stand, man.
No, just like your opinion,
Donnie,
man. Dude.
Donnie, shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. My favorite meme or GIF is the this guy polishing his it's my only toy figurine, the purple Jesus. Man. My favorite GIF is him polishing his bowling ball.
That's so awesome. And the best part's when he pulls the fucking trigger till it goes click.
I like it when the dude when the real Lebowski looks at the dude and says, "Do you have a job, sir?" And he's like, What day is this?
What day is this? Oh, yeah. Great movie. Great movie.
It's my favorite movie of all time. The Big Lebowski.
I got that. I got it right up there.
Everybody needs to watch the dude.
Donnie was a good bowler.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Yeah, go on.
I also like Larry, you're killing your father.
You see what happens, Larry?
See what happens when you fuck with a stranger. What are you doing? That's my car.
Destroys the bed.
Yeah, how about this? You remember the dude's landlord in the little play that he did?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. That was some comedic genius. That guy's hopping around on the stage. Yeah. Oh yeah. The Big Lebowski.
Three people in the crowd, or what was
it?
Yeah,
yeah. The dude and yeah. Yeah. I love the Big Lebowski. I highly recommend it, everybody. And look, here's the number one way that I think today you can get over cabin fever blues. Find the Big Lebowski and watch it. And even if you can't find the whole thing, just go on YouTube and find clips. It will really help you with your cabin fever blues. That's my recommendation.
Here, I'll give you my recommendation. Let's see here. Band I know, Virgin Mary Pistol Grip. Local band where I'm from, and they just put on a great show. So I told them if they bought some XRP, I'd shoot a shout out to them. I was getting interviewed, and cool. The lead singer has got some, so he sends it every time it dips. He's real awesome about sending me, getting it at just a cheap price. I'm like, nice. So
I like it. So do you think that the traditional investment money is coming soon?
Say that again.
Do you think that the traditional investment money is coming soon? In other words, my dad and my stepmom have got all of their portfolio with a Wells Fargo financial advisor. Do you feel like that we're getting closer to where that dude is going to say, hey, Lee and Susan, we need to diversify into these digital assets?
Oh, man, I would hope so. And with regs passing and all that, my dad just called his bank a couple days ago. I've been trying to get him to buy XRP, and he doesn't like, he doesn't like having to sign up for all that and give his information and stuff. So he called his financial advisor, and, she called him back, and they're looking into ways to do it now. So they don't have it available yet, but if my dad's calling, then there's more people at least wanting answers and knowing how they can do it. So I want to be interested to see how many coins they offer, or if they're just holding ours, if we can just go and transfer it to them and they pay us to hold our coins. But I'm a little leery about letting the banks touch any of my assets.
Yep.
So I don't think I'll be putting any over there, that's for sure, because oh, it just disappeared. We don't know what happened. We'll give you what we insured back to you, and we'll keep the rest. Who knows? So that's something to think about. But I think if Coinbase IPOs or Ripple, or if they kind of put a bunch of those together and put it in the stock market as well, you got 350 Americans in that, or no, whatever. But it's a lot of people, a lot of exposure.
One other thing that I wanted to find out from you, since you're relatively new in the space, have you run across one of our greatest YouTuber influencers, Nagabo?
I have run across Nagabo.
And you were aware that he did announce his intention to run for the president of the United States?
Running for the president? Is that what you said? It kind of cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did see that.
Any possibility you could vote that way to put a crypto in as our president? Crypto magic.
For sure.
I love Nagabo. I was very honored that I was able to interview him, and he is as interesting and entertaining to talk to in an interview as he is in just his videos. And I think now that with these banks custodying crypto, I think there's a stronger possibility now that Brad Garlinghouse is going to be elevated to Michael Jackson. That's what he told me on the interview, that when the bank money comes in, Brad Garlinghouse will go from Barry Manilow to Michael Jackson. So I'm waiting now with bated breath.
His life will never be the same. I will have to check out a little more from him, because typically I watch videos for like the first, 6 weeks to a month, or a month to 6 weeks. And then I kind of just got out of the videos and just hopped on Twitter. And so I can just kind of scroll stuff a little quicker. But what's it? Kevin Cage, The Bearable Bull. I won't murder that impression, but those guys are good. Crypto Erie, I believe, is her name. She
Eddie, Crypto Eddie. It's spelled Erie, but pronounced Eddie, I think.
Thank you. Yeah. So I will go check out some of Nagabo.
Oh, the latest Naga Magic. You're in for a treat. It's only 4 minutes and 4 seconds long, but that's his best work by far. I think you're really gonna enjoy his message, and really, basically, maybe this is too strong a word, but his threat to Brad Garlinghouse. And then a couple of days later, we get the OCC saying that it's okay for banks to custody crypto. So I'm thinking maybe Nagabo's got more influence than we all imagine.
That would be great. That was some good news with Judy Shelton and that back-to-back days. I was like, come on. So that was, yeah.
Well, do you feel like that the IMF may go, and have you heard about the pre-allocation theory that the IMF would get the escrow from Ripple and then dole it out to the countries that are members of the IMF, and then elevate the amount or the value of each XRP to say a certain amount, like $1,000, and then presto changeo, takes care of the world debt. Level the playing field, reseto.
Yes, sir. Yep. I've seen the connections to the IMF, and I hadn't heard it quite explained like that, so I was just assuming. That's pretty sweet. I didn't know if level playing the field meant all of that. I thought it was just, hey, here's the value of this. Now we're gonna put a value on everything out there, and we'll just move it. Well, with XRP,
none of us really know.
Underneath everything.
None of us really knows, Upkey. We just all kind of have. That's why it's the pre-allocation theory. We're just kind of trying to, speculate, because what the hell else are we going to do until we can get some damn football?
Right. I would say, that sounds like a good theory, but in my mind, why would, unless that's the only way they can do it, but why wouldn't Ripple just go straight to the each source, each whatever, and be able to do it that way, or the IMF, it just has that much of an influence, I guess, where that probably makes
Well,
sense.
I think because the IMF, if we're kind of going into one world order and one world currency, and the IMF is the lender of last resort, then it would make then. And again, in theory, I don't know either, but in theory, it seems like it would make sense that they would start the new quantum financial system from the IMF and then dole out the solution to all the member countries and then flip the switch.
I think that'd be pretty sweet. What do you think about the one where they take it up to, they just take XRP up to like $50, try to get everybody out, and then they get so many people out, and then they move it down to like $45, because then the people that didn't sell at 50, they're like, oh shit, should have I sold more? So then they go down to 45 for a while, and then what happens when they want to get more people out first? Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this right now. All right, and if I've got a plan of exit, and if it goes to $50 with the amount that I would want to be able to go ahead and cash out at that point, and I'll be in good shape. I'm moving back to the mountains of North Carolina, and I'll ride this shit out from there, and y'all can do pretty much whatever you need to. And good God, sorry, but I just saw Fauci trying to pitch again. Man, I hope he's a better doctor than he is a damn baseball thrower. Holy shit.
I mean,
he's as bad as Roseanne.
You haven't thrown a ball in like 50 years and you didn't go warm up or anything to know that, hey, just stand halfway between. You look better than that. Are you?
Yeah, you don't have to go from the whole mound, dude. If you're going to embarrass stuff like that, hell, get 3 feet away from the fucking catcher and throw it underhanded. Holy shit, don't embarrass yourself like that.
That was bad. I throw better with my other hand, my opposite hand.
Man.
Wow.
I can throw it left-handed better than he did. It's not hard. You gotta throw it, right? You don't just sort of push it. You have to throw it.
My 3-year-old could throw it better than that, man.
Yeah, like I said, hey, we're all just hoping that dude's a little bit better of a damn doctor than he is a pitcher. Good God, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't know if it even matters how good of a doctor he is, though. If the president doesn't give a shit, hey, I don't want you in this meeting anymore. So I don't know if it even matters.
Yeah, you throw like that, you're embarrassing me. Oh, now we got Mahomes. Now that dude's got an arm.
Oh man.
So
glad I'm an NFC guy. Don't have to really worry about him for the next decade. Him and Lamar. Holy cow.
Yeah. I don't know what. I'm a Cowboy fan, and look, I know people either love or hate the Cowboys.
Giants here. So, I hate the Giants.
Hey, I started loving the Cowboys when I was in elementary school, and my dad loved the Redskins. Being in the South, that was a big rivalry, and we always saw Redskins games. And for some reason, I just liked the Cowboys then, kind of like to have a rivalry with my dad.
Right, I did that with my opposite of my dad and brother. They like the Jets, so I went with the Giants, and so. But I hate the Eagles more than the Cowboys.
And even if you don't like the Cowboys, maybe you can at least appreciate that I didn't come along just when they got hyped up as America's team. I've loved them since Craig Morton and Roger Staubach were quarterbacks, and I've stayed loyal the whole time. So
right, and that's all it is. I've been same as me, Giants, LT, and there were some rough years between there and the Eli runs, and now we're trying to get back up again. So it's a roller coaster.
Is Eli on the roster, or did they release him?
He is retired, actually.
Oh, he did go ahead and officially retire.
Yes, sir. He's retired. Yep.
I didn't remember hearing that. I knew Jones was there, but I didn't know if Eli felt like he wanted to try to do what Peyton did, which is to latch on with another team and see if he can have one more swan song. Now, I'm as I told you, I'm a Carolina guy, but I've never taken to the Panthers. What do you feel like is going to happen with Cam and the Patriots?
That's going to be scary for the rest of the league.
You think he's got something left in the tank?
I do, and he's smart. He's football smart. He loves football, and I think this is kind of his chance to grow up, go hang out with Belichick and learn from the best. McDaniels is whatever, but I think it's Belichick. And think about a mobile Tom Brady, but maybe he's 80% of the passer that Tom Brady is, but he's 1,000% of the runner that he is. So you get down the red zone, you got so many more options. It's my brother's a Jets fan, so they were all excited that Brady left, and then Cam Newton shows up, and I'm like, oh man. But he's one injury away, like you said. I don't know about his health, but if he's anywhere near fully healthy, watch out.
He's too flashy for me, man. The hair and the hats.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he'll grow up here, a new phase in his life. It happens to some people. We'll see, but I don't know.
I mean, somebody who handles himself really, really, really well, Russell Wilson. I mean, just none of that splash and pizzazz stuff. I don't like it.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is he's a beast, and they just had a baby and they named it Win, W-I-N.
Good for him.
Yeah, yep. So he is a good guy. It seems like, anyway. Don't know him personally.
All right. So as we kind of wind this down, I'd like to ask 3 things. Number one, anybody that I'm inviting to come and have a friendly conversation, when you first were asked, and if you had any apprehension, and then how you got over that, and what your experience was like doing this. What I'm trying to do is help everybody out there that I'm inviting to come talk with me to have a sense of comfort that, there's nothing to be scared of here. And then the other thing is, I'd like to invite you to come back at some point so we can do a little bit of comparing and contrasting. Today's the 25th of July. We get together in another month or so and talk about the movement that we made, or lack of movement, and how we're dealing with that. But and would you like, and the third thing is, would you like to hear from some of the other people, like me being able to interview some of the YouTubers? We love the news that you're doing, but we'd like to learn a little bit more about the influencer. And then the other side of the coin is people that aren't really influencers, but just people in the XRP Army. Would you like to hear more of their stories and where they're coming from about all this stuff? So there's some stuff to unpack.
All right. So I'll start at 3. Going backwards. Oh no. What was 3?
Were you nervous, and how did you fight through that? Was there anything bad that happened as a result of doing this? And then third, would you like to be able to hear, if I can get interviews with some of the more established YouTubers, would you like to hear the influencer stories instead of just news from them?
Right, for sure. The influencer stories, you want to see how they started, where they started, and kind of what their thoughts are then compared to now, of course. And then I'd love to do more interviews, every couple months or whatever. Like I said, my September of 21 is kind of my prediction when we will all be really, really happy. And that's just a newbie looking at the time frame after a Bitcoin halving. That's happened 2 times already. So I'm kind of saying history will repeat. Late September 2021, we will all be happy. And then the apprehension basically if someone, you're going to hear it from someone, and then they hopefully, like myself, would help someone else out and, just answer all the questions for them. And that's kind of where the apprehension goes away. The buddy I was telling you about that I Snapchatted, hey, anybody got any investment ideas? And he was willing to just respond to me for the first 2-3 weeks. I was asking him so many questions. And then I started researching more. And then now once in a while, maybe once a month or something, I'll post some big news to him, or he will to me. We're kind of both at the same level of where we're at and what we're waiting for. So that's kind of it. Apprehension. I tell everybody, I'm like, put $100 in. It doesn't have to be 10,000, 50,000, your life savings. Put $100. Like, you'll put $100 in these penny stocks, and you're happy that you made $10 in 2 weeks, and you won't put $100 in a digital asset because you don't know where it is. Like, let's get real here. You don't know where a lot of stuff is that you're using. You don't know where your paycheck goes. It just shows up as a number in your bank account, and where did it actually go from? So it's all right.
And if there are any women out there that I'm inviting to try to get interviews with, would you like to hear more from the ladies and the women in our XRP Army? Because we've got kind of we've got plenty of them out there, but we haven't had a lot of them stepping up to be able to let us know more about them. Would you like to hear more from our women in our XRP Army?
Oh, of course. I mean, women, men, whoever, I mean, whatever they label themselves as, it doesn't matter. Anybody that has a story. But yeah, I mean, a different perspective. If there's 1 to 5 women to men in the industry, or in the, investment field, whatever we're calling it, in the digital world, why are they in it, and why aren't other women? They might have a more unique or different perspective than us. But in my mind, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's kind of like men or football, like it's competitive, where you're like, I gotta get all this stuff now and hold it, where they're kind of living more in the moment. Than, I don't know. That'd be good for them to answer that, I guess, before I ramble on a little.
Well, I promise you, I'm doing my part of, I'm asking, is, whenever I see one of the women in our community tweeting and all that kind of stuff, then I'm immediately, on it and trying to, make that initial contact and reach out and give them the same opportunity. Because I personally would love to be able to hear from some of our XRP women in our community, especially on Twitter. So, all right. Well, any last message that you'd like to give if you were going to expire at midnight and this was your epitaph? What message would you like to give out to the world?
My message to the world right now would be, guys, one chance in your life to turn nothing into whatever you want to turn it into. I plan to donate whatever percentage to multiple sclerosis. My sister has it. She's had it for a long time. And, with these new technologies coming out too, let's get the money out there for these things, and let's get the technology out there, and we can solve a lot of the world's problems as far as health. And that's kind of where my heart is with this. And of course, everybody wants to, basically vacation the rest of their life instead of work. So, don't miss the opportunity. Eminem said it best. You only got one shot. And I'm not even, an Eminem fan, but that song is ringing true for XRP.
True. All right. Well, again, I'd like to thank you very much again. I got one brief thing I want to talk with you about as soon as I turn this off. I won't keep you long. Thank you again, and I hope everyone enjoyed getting to know upkey24 a little bit better. Now, when you see his tweets in Twitter, you'll know a little bit more about him. And hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. And let's all keep our fingers crossed that the pandemic calms down. We can all get to work again, and we can have more stimulus money.
Yes,
more stimulus money. I'd like to request Miss Mnuchin to poke Stevie Boy a little bit and go ahead and get us get that second stimulus check out to everybody.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
All right.